Welcome back to another episode of my Sitecore Diaries, your ultimate guide to digital experience excellence. I am Jitendra Ghanekar, and today we are going to deep dive into a topic that is crucial for optimizing your Sitecore website, and that is caching. In last video, we have seen what is a basic concept of caching. In case you have not watched that video, I will recommend to watch that video. I will give the link in description for that video and also in the comment. So please do watch after watching this complete video. Before we delve into the details of caching in Sitecore, let's pick at what this video covers. First, we will see what are the different cache layers in Sitecore. Then we will see how to configure different cache layers, so configurations. Then we will see what is HTML cache and what are the different cache options available to configure the HTML cache. Then we will see what are the different HTML caching strategies which we can implement. Then what are the different caches other than the basic caching layers provide, what are the different other caches, and at the end we will see how we can clear caches using a admin page. But before we get started, if you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest Sitecore tutorials, tips and tricks. So let's start now. Now let's see first topic. What are the different cache layers in Sitecore? So when we talk about the Sitecore request, whenever it gets a request, first of all it checks with HTML cache layer. So this is the first layer. Okay, so when Sitecore request comes, it first check if there is a HTML cached HTML is available. Okay, if the cache HTML is available, then that cache HTML is given as a response back. Okay, so the first layer is a HTML cache. Then the second layer is a item cache. So if the HTML cache is not available, then Sitecore checks whether there is any item cache available for that item. Then that item cache is designed as a response. So item cache is your second layer. Then the third layer is a data cache. Okay, so if item cache is also not available, then Sitecore check if there is a data cache available. If there is a data cache available, then that is sent as a response. Then the last one is the Prefetch cache. So if the Prefetch cache is available, then that cache is directly sent as a response. So cache is used as a response. So these are the four layers of a caching in Sitecore: HTML cache, item cache, data cache and Prefetch cache. Assume that if there is no Prefetch cache available, then the data is pulled from the database. It is stored in the cache, respective cache, and then it is given back as a response. So this is the these are the four layers of a site. Now let's see all these four layers in detail. So first is a Prefetch cache. Database Prefetch cache contains items that Sitecore access during and immediately after initialization, and items with children's that Sitecore often accesses as a group. So basically, when we talk about the Prefetch cache, it is a cache which is built at the start of the Sitecore application initialization. So once we start the Sitecore application, this cache gets filled. So that is the Prefetch cache. Okay, and this is accessed during the start of the application. So assume that you want to cache the home page at the time of a start of the application, like application start only, then you will add that as a Prefetch. Sitecore populates database Prefetch caches at the application initialization and maintains those caches over the life of the application. So once the caches are built at the time of the application, till the time the application is available, the scope is available, the life is available, or the application is live, or it is not crashed, till that time that cache is available, the Prefetch cache is available. Each database Prefetch cache stores data from a different database or data source. Not all data providers implement Prefetch caches. So for every database, like you have master, web, and web preview, so all those or a core database, so all will have their own Prefetch cache. Excessive use of Prefetch caches can affect the time required for application initialization. So when the Prefetch cache is built, it is time of the application start. So till the time your Prefetch cache is not built, your application will not be upright. So you use a huge heavy Prefetch cache, then your application initialization will take time. So whenever you will start your application, whenever you deploy something and then you start or you do the IIS reset and start the application, then it will take a time to start the application if you are using the heavy Prefetch caches. Then there is another layer that is called as a data cache. This cache is to minimize the round trips to the database. It again pulls the item information from the Sitecore, but the different being it does it when the item is requested rather than a startup of the site. Okay, so it's Prefetch cache, it does it at the startup of the site, it builds the cache, whereas data cache is on the basis of request. So if you are requesting some item, then that item data it gets from the database and stores into the data cache. Okay, so it's removes the or it minimize the round trips to the database. So difference between Prefetch and database caches: Prefetch is done at the start of the application, where a data cache is built when the item is requested. It will pull the data from the Prefetch cache if it is there, or go back to the database if not. So as we have already seen the layers how it is. So if the cache is available, if the data is available in the Prefetch cache, it get it from the Prefetch cache. If not, then it will look for the database data cache. If it is not there in the data cache also, then it will go to the database and build the data cache and then send the response. Now the next one is the item cache. This cache has objects of type sitecore.data.items.item, which will be used in the code. When an item is requested in the code, it will look in the item cache, then back up the data cache and up again to Prefetch cache and finally to the database. So item cache is basically used when you are requesting an item in your code. So you via the code, if you are trying to access the item, then it will utilize the item cache. Each entry in the database item cache represents a single version of an item in a single language. So in this item cache, you will have a single version of an item in a single language. So you have 10 languages and 10 versions. So accordingly, you will have the item cache. It will be heavy if you are using a lot of items in the item cache. Sitecore does not pre-populate database item caches. The next one is HTML cache. This is also very important. The HTML cache it's also called as output cache. Associated with each managed website contains the output generated by individual rendering under the different condition. So basically, what it means is it caches the HTML of your renderings, that is your component, depending on the different condition. Different condition means different devices, like you have a mobile, you have a desktop. So all those conditions, whatever written in your presentation details, depending on that, it caches the HTML. Each site HTML caches depend on the database item cache. So these are the 4 layers of caching in Sitecore. Okay, so we will see now how these caches are getting configured. Now let's see how to configure the caches and what are the different ways the HTML caches can be enabled. So first we will see Prefetch cache configuration. So for that you need to add the patch file. If you see, this is the patch file, sample file, patch file. Okay, here you define for each data provider. Okay, so like here you have a master data. Okay, that role require content management or standalone. There in master, for the data provider we are giving this Prefetch configuration. So what we are saying is, for the Prefetch we are adding two things here. First is the cache size 100 MB, and then which item we need to cache. Okay, so I'm here caching the home item. Okay, so similarly you can have it for the web. So whatever the data provider you have and you want to cache it, those the items as a start of the application. For that you can add like this, and this patch file you can create. Okay, so use Prefetch for the item which are most frequently visited page like home. So generally that's a best practice to use the Prefetch cache, or you add the items in the Prefetch cache which are most frequently used. Bigger the Prefetch gives slow startup, but it can give you a better performance while opening a content editor or a page editor. So as I said in last slide also, that if you have a large or a huge Prefetch cache, it will take time to start up. Okay, but it help you on the performance. Smaller the Prefetch cache give the fast startup, but it can give you a less performance while opening the content editor or page editor. Apply custom Prefetch within the live environment, as you don't want to add minutes to app startup during the development. Okay, this is very important point. This is the best practice. Okay, so as you know now, the Prefetch cache is built at the start or before the start of the application. So it all depends. If you have a huge Prefetch cache, it will take a time to start the application. But in the live environment, your application is already running. It will not go down, right? At the time of the maybe deployment, you might be taking it off. But that also, if you have a load balancing, that is also you are handling it, right? So this is the best. But in case of your development, you are doing it again and again, right? Make a changes and then deploy it, restart the ISO. We are making the changes. So ideal condition in the development environment, you can have the less Prefetch cache, but at the live environment, you can check what are the most frequently visited items, and then that you can add it in the Prefetch cache, and it will help you for the performance. Then we will talk about the data and item cache configuration. Again, this is the patch file we will need to add it. Okay, you have to provide here the size of the caches, right? Here you see data cache is 100 MB, item cache is 100 MB. We can provide the caches. If you see the nodes here, it will add it in Sitecore database node. Then you have defined for which you are database you are defining it. So here it is for the web, okay, and down it is for the master. This is how it is done, that you can configure the cache sizes for the data and item caches. Then let's talk about the HTML cache configuration. So HTML cache is basically apply on the component level. So whenever you will open a component, you will see few configurations like this in the caching section. Okay, so there are different options provided for each rendering. So whenever you will add a rendering, at the rendering level, you will have these many options. So let's see one by one what are these options. The first checkbox which is available is the cacheable. So it can be defined inside definition file across the website or at a rendering level. So cacheable can be defined at this site definition also. So if you apply that at the site definition, it will be across the website. But at the same time, it can be done at the rendering level also. So if you have the say hero banner component which you want to cache, then you can select this cacheable checkbox, and these all are the shared fields. So it will be done for all the languages. Then this specifies it Sitecore caches the rendering or not. The next one is a clear on index update. So when should be the HTML cache should get clear? Okay, so if you are having the index update, then whether it should get cache should get clear. So that configuration is done by this checkbox. It clears the cache when it updates the content search index. Next is the vary by data. So whether you want to vary your caches depending on the data, so that time you can select this vary by data. So if the data is changed, then your cache will change. Okay, so Sitecore caches output based on the item access. So again, talk more about caches. Like you have one page, okay, and you are using the so you have two pages and you're using the same component and both the pages. Okay, and if you are selected vary by data and your data is changing on both the pages, then it will get cached depending on the data. Okay, but if you are not selected it, then one cache is used in the second page. Vary by device. Sitecore caches output for each device separately. It's straightforward that if you are using the multiple devices, you have a like mobile, desktop, then you will have the different caches but based on the devices. Vary by login. Two copies of the output, authenticated users and unauthenticated users. So basically the cache will be defined. We will have a two copies. For the authenticated user, the logged in user, you will have a different cache. The non-logged in user, we will have a different cache. Vary by parameters. Sitecore caches output for each parameter the rendering expect. So depending on the parameter, it will caches the output. Vary by query string. Sitecore caches output for each unique combination of query string parameters. So depending on the query parameter, if you want to change the cache, then you have to select this checkbox. Vary by user. Sitecore caches output for each authenticated user. So depending on the authenticated user, if you want to change the cache, then you can select this. Now how to clear a cache? That behavior you can define by this drop down defines how cache should be cleared. So this is how HTML cache should be configured at the rendering level. Okay. Now we will see what are the other caches available in the Sitecore. XLS cache. So if you are using the old version of Sitecore, you must be knowing you can use the XSLT also there. This is absolute now, but if you are having the old version of a Sitecore and you use the XSLT, then this caches the XSLT files you have. So they aren't read from the disk each time you need to use it. Standard values cache. So caching the standard values set on your template. So standard values caches hold the standard values you have set on the template. Then path caches. So this cache binds the path such as the Sitecore contains, Sitecore /contains/home. This path is cached to the specific to the IDs. Then you have a registry cache. So this cache stores the user based registry settings. So these are the few other caches which Sitecore also has: XLS cache, standard values cache, path cache, and registry cache. Now let's see, there is an admin page which is available for this cache. So when you go to the control panel and go to the admin page, then there is an option available to view and clear the caches. So once you click on that cache, the administrator page, then here if you see the second option here after support package, there is an option here, cache. Okay, so that cache, if you click, it will open this kind of a page where you can view what are the different caches in your application. Okay, and what is the size. Okay, what is the delta, what is the maximum size range. You can refresh and clear the cache from this page. Okay, so this is available for the administrator. And there you have it, friends. Word of Sitecore caching. Remember, caching will help you to give better performance and user experience. If you found this video helpful, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow Sitecore friends. And if you have not already subscribed, then hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out any of my videos. Please provide your feedback via comment. Thank you. Thanks for watching.